Your son's DNA doesn't match either parent on file, the doctor said quietly. I gave birth to him. I watched him come out of me. I stared at Dr. Whitmore like he'd just told me the sky was purple. We were in the pediatric genetics office because my son Caleb needed bone marrow. He had leukemia. My husband Darren and I had both been tested as potential donors. The results were supposed to tell us if either of us could save our son's life. There has to be a mistake, I said. Run the test again. Dr. Whitmore shook his head slowly. We ran it 3 times. The DNA doesn't lie. I looked at Darren. His face had gone completely white. Are you saying he's not my biological son? Darren asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I'm saying he's not either of yours, biologically speaking. The room started spinning. I remembered every second of Caleb's birth, the 32 hours of labor, the moment they placed him on my chest, still covered in everything and screaming. I cut the cord myself. That's impossible, I said. I carried him for 9 months. I felt him kick. I gave birth to him at Memorial Hospital 6 years ago. Dr. Whitmore folded his hand on the desk. Mrs. Kellerman, I'm not doubting that you gave birth to a baby. I'm telling you that Caleb's DNA doesn't match yours or your husband's genetic profiles. Darren stood up so fast his chair scraped against the floor. This is insane. You're saying someone switched our baby at the hospital? I'm not saying anything. I'm just reporting the test results. That night, Darren and I sat at the kitchen table while Caleb slept upstairs, his little body fighting cancer while his parents' entire reality crumbled. Could you have? Darren started, then stopped. Could I have what? Nothing. Forget it. Say it. Could you have had an affair? I wanted to slap him. You think I cheated and somehow the baby I carried for 9 months came out with someone else's DNA? That's not how biology works. Then explain this to me. I couldn't. We pulled out every photo from the hospital. Caleb in his little blue hat, me holding him in the recovery room, Darren cutting the cord. He looked exactly like he did now, just smaller. Same birthmark behind his left ear. 2 days later, I drove to Memorial Hospital and demanded Caleb's birth records. The nurse was helpful until she pulled up the file. Her face changed instantly. Mrs. Kellerman, I need to get my supervisor. 20 minutes later, I was sitting in an administrator's office with 2 lawyers present. There was an incident the night your son was born, the administrator said carefully. What kind of incident? A new nurse accidentally switched wristbands between 2 babies in the nursery. The error was caught within an hour. The babies were returned to the correct mothers. My heart stopped. Are you telling me I took home the wrong baby? No. According to our records, the error was corrected. Then why doesn't his DNA match mine? No one could answer. I hired a private investigator. He dug through hospital records, employee files, everything. 2 weeks later, he called me with news that changed everything. The nurse who made the switching error, her name was Peggy Holbrook. She was fired 2 weeks after the incident, not for the switch, for falsifying medical records. My blood ran cold. What records? She changed the documentation to show the babies were switched back, but there's no proof they actually were. Peggy Holbrook died in a car accident 4 years ago. Her family had moved away, but my investigator tracked down her daughter. My mom felt guilty until the day she died. The daughter told me over coffee. She said she made a terrible mistake and tried to fix it, but by the time she realized the second switch hadn't worked, the families had already bonded with the babies. She thought it would cause more harm to say anything. I sat there feeling like I'd been punched in the chest. Where is my biological son? She gave me a name, the Townsend family. They lived 40 minutes away. They had a 6-year-old son named Oliver. When I finally met Oliver's mother, we both cried for an hour. She had my eyes. My son, my biological son, had my exact eyes, but he didn't know me. And Caleb, the boy I raised and loved with everything I had, wasn't mine by blood. In the end, we didn't switch back. How could we? These weren't objects. They were children who loved their families. Oliver's mother and I agreed to stay in contact. Our families slowly merged into something strange and beautiful. And when Caleb needed bone marrow, his biological mother was a perfect match. She saved his life without hesitation. He's still my son, I told Darren the night after the transplant. Biology doesn't make a family. Love does.